Well, Nate, you've got a successful business that's been successful for some time now. And for all of us who are sitting at your feet begging for scraps of wisdom, what are just some of the basic things we need to know to start our own business?
Yeah, that's a big question. Like, what do I need to know to start a business or to become successful in business? That's what this episode is all about.
I've got some questions for you.
Okay.
Not necessarily hard number crunching questions, but maybe more what it takes as a person to be successful in business. To me, it seems like self-discipline would be job one. Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, you think about a job, you're handed an assignment and you go and you fulfill that assignment. You've got checklists, you've got tasks or whatnot. And now as a business owner, you wear all the hats, you control the schedule, you control what days you work or what you don't, when you get to take breaks. So you definitely need discipline. Beyond discipline, I like to talk about persistence, especially like in my business and in my case, because I had an 8.5-year financial roller coaster and I just had persistence to really stick with it. And there are a lot of hard times. And I think the only reason that I stuck with it and didn't go back to the job is this tenacity or persistence. So that
Would you say, you're on the cusp of saying pride, but in a good way. But I mean, pride of, hey, I left that job, I said I was going to do this. Does that play a role in it? I mean, is there a good pride that keeps you fueled through those tough times?
For me, it was more of I felt and feel purpose driven. Like
Okay.
I feel like I am on a mission to do something. And I'm learning and growing. Like a great thing, even though these years were really rough and challenging, I look at entrepreneurship as like one of the best personal development programs on the planet. Like, because you're forced to learn and grow. You try something, it doesn't work, so you try something else.
Yeah.
And instead of like a mistake is a failure, a mistake is just you try something else that works. And so you keep going.
Yeah, mistakes are learning. And there are obviously a lot of people out there who will reward or recognize people for making a mistake in business because it's a lesson learned. Thank you so much for showing us that. Your partner, your life partner, Phil. Just kidding. Okay. Your partner in life is your wife. Was she a willing partner in this whole idea of I'm leaving my job? Did you have kids at the time? What can you tell the people that are viewing and watching this that go, God, I wish I had a spouse, husband or wife that
Yeah,
was.
I would definitely give that to my wife as one of her greatest attributes is she is supportive. She's always believed in me and trusted me. And, when I told her that I quit my job, it was kind of a shock.
Yeah.
Because we were parents. Back then, we had a little one. I think let's see. No, we had two. But she didn't fight me on it or
So even after several years of some challenges, she was right there by your side.
Yeah, like I never got any flack from her for not going and getting a job. I mean, we would have open conversations. I would really just express my heart. Like I really feel like this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I feel like I'm getting so close. Yeah, having a supportive spouse, that's a big deal.
Yeah. Now, in your business through the years, certainly you've been faced with the temptation to kind of compromise, take shortcuts.
Like, can you give me an example? Like what you mean by a compromise?
Like
or shortcut?
compromise your own morals, or even compromise just your vision in the sense of, well, I could make more money if I went this way, but that's not really keeping in line with my values. So I'm going to stay with my values and just trust that everything will work out. I mean, have you had those kinds of forks in the road where you've had to...
I mean, I had a client that paid me in advance for a website, and I found out, I don't believe in alcohol. I don't,
Okay.
and
But alcohol believes in you.
They really wanted me to do a lot of work to promote their company, and I thought, you know what? I'm not judging you.
Yeah.
You're great people, but that's just not the type of work that I can get behind. And so I refunded their money. I think that's important. I think you have to know, like, let me say it this way. I help people build influence. I mean, influence means that people trust you. and they take your advice, they trust your opinions, they do what you ask them to do. That's what influence is. And I help people grow in influence. I always refer back to Spider-Man. He got bit by the spider, got these superpowers, he beats up this guy at school.
Technically, it was Peter Parker who got bit by the spider.
Right, okay.
And then became
Do you remember the scene where he's talking to Uncle Ben in the car?
Uncle Ben's rice.
And he said, with great power
comes great responsibilities.
Yeah, what is that? What do you think that means?
Come on. I'm not on the hot seat here.
So if
here's
you
what
have,
it means.
Okay.
Here's what I wanted to ask you. If PewDiePie, or whatever his name is, or Mr. Beast, if he came to you today and said, Nate, I'm going to pay you $10 million a year to just produce my videos. You're not going to have any time to do any of these other things and to be da-da-da-da-da. What would you do?
If it were PewDiePie, I would say no.
Okay, I said Mr. Beast. Or someone of that ilk.
Mr. Beast, I would probably really enjoy it. Yeah.
Okay, but I'm saying not the philanthropy channel. I mean just we're going to go swim in a pool of turds. You know what I'm saying?
So I am very purpose-driven, and I wouldn't be able to completely leave everything behind. I'd have to because my company is in a pretty automated space. I've got my book, partway written. It should be finished in the next 6 months. I've got benchmarks I've got to meet to get there. And so there are a lot of things that I need to achieve.
He says, 10 million right now, all of that gets left behind. I don't want you working on it at all. I exclusively want you to come do this for me.
Is it 10 million one time or 10 million a year? That would make a difference.
You're right. You're right. That would.
If it's 10 million a year,
Okay, let's say it's 10 million. What if, let's say it's 1 million a year?
Oh no, I got that much in my business already.
That's all we all wanted to know anyway. Just messing with you. So that's what I mean about compromise though. Compromising your vision, compromising why you started this, for the golden ring.
And we talked about it in a previous episode. I started my company with web design, working with all small business owners, and I've made pivots to change my services. Yeah. And I could have made a lot more money. Like I was looking at my web design company and I thought, if I just keep going on this track, I know I can make it and reach all my financial goals. Yeah. But at the same time, I was like, but I'm just like miserable. I'm not passionate about it like I was in the beginning. And I really had to find my groove.
So that's where I wanted to go, was that. Am I passionate about it? Is it what I enjoy, or am I going home at the end of the day going, why did I even leave my accounting job? Mm-hmm. To be an accountant for myself? What is that? You know what I mean? It's like, you got to find your niche that you feel like, I love this and I'm good at it. Pivots are one thing, but complete U-turns
I find myself in a strange place right now because for decades, I've had financial goals. I've wanted to be a six-figure earner for a long, long time, and really quickly, just in the last few years, I've become six-figure, surpassed six-figure, become a seven-figure earner, and now I'm like, what are my goals now? Mm-hmm. Like I have a lot of enjoyment and fulfillment, but I am still actually trying to figure out, okay, like where do I want to take my company from here? Because I haven't even thought this big yet. Yeah.
That's pretty good. It's a great place to be able to kind of be standing on the launch point of what's ahead and be able to look out. People that run their own business, you're living proof of this. You literally have no hair left. Oh. How do you avoid, and you shave the sides, but how do you avoid burnout? Because we talked about it in another video and it's just common knowledge. Anyone who runs their own business, whether they have contract employees or real employees or anybody, or they're alone, you're wearing all the hats, you're making all the decisions, you got to have all the self-discipline. That's a quick formula to burning yourself out and just getting sick of it. What do you do? How do you deal with that?
There's a lot of stress, but how do you avoid the burnout? Like, I don't think you can actually avoid it. I'm finding ways to be strategic. Admittedly, I've had burnout on this channel. Like I've been talking about these same things a lot, you know, for many, many years. And so having your help coming and helping me on this channel makes this a fun day.
You know what would really cure that?
What's that?
I think we should start making your channel videos about us traveling around the world in sports cars.
Okay.
You know, like those English guys do.
Well, I thought you were doing the Jerry Seinfeld, like comedians in cars getting coffee.
Well, that's fun too.
It could be two guys in a Tesla.
The guys over there, the British guys, the Grand Tour, whatever they call that show, that one, that they drive around and they have a lot of fun. You would not be burned out. That would be a hoot. Just saying.
I just don't see the business connection.
Doesn't matter.
Okay, no connection.
You got
either.
7 figures. Work from home, home office, or WeWork? You know, leasing office space. What would you rather?
Yeah, I've done all the above. I've worked from home, and I do have a home office. I've done WeWork. WeWork was cool, but quite expensive. And now I have an office in my Salt Lake studio house here. I work from home, and I love it, except for when my 8-year-old comes to me and says, "Dad, can we play?" And I have to tell him no. I hate that. I hate having to tell him no. I love being able to just separate it, and when I'm at home, I'm not thinking about work. Definitely, like, work from home is cool, but if you can get a space away from home, I recommend it.
And in terms of working from home with a home office, as far as like tax breaks are concerned, you can deduct your house payment, because if you're using a certain
Not
percentage,
the entire house, but
no,
a percentage,
but a certain
yeah.
percentage of it, I mean, yeah. So I think at this point it's safe to say, if I were to ask you, would a person be happier working for themselves or at a job, I know what your answer would be.
Obviously, for me, I would not be happy being an employee. I would feel like confined and trapped that I really couldn't create. An employee is great. They don't want to wear all the hats.
Yeah.
They love that they can just go to a job, put in their time, punch out,
Yeah, there's nothing
metaphorically, and
wrong
then
with
come
that
home.
if that's your role, baby. I mean, because some people do. They like the sense of feeling like they belong in this kind of community of coworkers. They like going to an office and getting away so that they can compartmentalize a little bit the joy of work and the joy of home.
So I love the personal development that comes from being an entrepreneur, but it comes with a lot of stress, and it comes with tons and tons of responsibility that you don't have to. If you're not hungry for it, you don't have to do it. All right, so you've heard some fun conversation here about employee versus being a business owner. Well, I actually did a rant on a topic of should you hire an employee or hire an independent contractor. If you want to see some of my really strong opinions, go watch that video next.